political climate in Nigeria at the beginning of 2023 was one of mixed emotions among the citizens as it heralded the end of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, as the general elections was already scheduled by INEC to hold on Saturday, 25th February 2023. Most Nigerians eagerly looked forward to the elections that period, as many were disenchanted in the performance of the outgoing administration, ranging from insecurity, economic hardship, devaluation of the naira against foreign currencies, amongst others. Then came the political rave called the Obedient Movement, championed by Labour Party presidential candidate and former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, which captured the minds of most of younger generation, especially on social media, where many were enlightened about the novel manifesto of the fast-rising Labour Party in the country. The Labour Party was seen by the timid youth population in Nigeria as the only party that could compete with the ruling APC and its main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, at the polls because of the people-oriented and seeming people-inclusive socio-economic manifesto of the party. Prior to the elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and its chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, told the public that the electoral body was ready to conduct free and fair election on February 25, 2023, as the polls would be devoid of any malpractice due to the use of the biomodel voters accreditation system (BVAS), and that the results from the polling units will be uploaded directly to the INEC results viewing portal.
Most Nigerians are more familiar with the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS, which doubles as accreditation device as well as the upload of polling unit level result sheets on election day on or to the INEC result viewing portal, the IREV, in real time. These innovations have increased transparency and public confidence in the electoral process. They are also part of the legal requirements for conducting elections in Nigeria.
For the PDP, it had 30 aspirants who contested the primaries. Former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar defeated his closest rival and former Governor of Rivers State Nyesom Wike, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, former Akwa Ibom State Governor Emmanuel Udom, Pius Ayim Pius, former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, and Dele Momodu. One of the unconstitutional things that took place at the presidential primaries was that the former Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambowa, stepped down from the race and directed the supporters to vote for Atiku during the primaries. Some political analysts believed it was Mr. Tambowa's withdrawal from the race that titled the race in favor of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
I, Senator David Adechenu Bonaventure Mark, GCON, hereby return Atiku Abubakar, having scored the highest number of valid votes during the presidential primary election held on Saturday, May the 28th, 2022 at the Velodrome Complex, Abuja, FCT, as the winner of the election. He is hereby returned elected.
The outcome of the PDP presidential primaries was what brought woes for the PDP, which led to the formation of the PDP G5 governors, which had governors like Nyesom Wike, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Samuel Oto of Benue State, Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State, and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, formed a major opposition to Atiku in the 2023 presidential election and were believed to have contributed to the defeat of their flag bearer. Prior to the primary election, there were demands by party stakeholders who formed the integrity group that the presidential ticket be zoned to the south in line with the rotational system in the party's constitution. Following Atiku's victory at the primaries, the G5 governor demanded the resignation of Iyorchia Ayu as the national chairman of the party. The governors based their argument on the premise that the party's presidential candidate and chairman cannot hail from the same region. But Iyorchia Ayu stayed put, and as a result, the G5 governors abstained from the PDP presidential campaign activities. But Atiku group refused, and the inability to resolve the crisis caused a major upset for the PDP. The day of the general election came, people turned out in votes for the candidate of their choice, notably from the APC, PDP, Labour Party, and NPP. The presidential candidates in these political parties were Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, respectively. For the first time in the history of Nigerian politics, Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora, even public figures and celebrities in large numbers became members of the obedient movement and clamored for a former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, to be the next president. Obi and his running mate, Dati, commanded a huge crowd of supporters in all the states he visited to solicit for votes.
You can see with your eyes that it's not about structure. The people are the structure. So we have come to let them know that we are taking it from their hands.
The support for Mr. Peter Obi was so massive that the obedient movement were said to be warming up for a swearing-in ceremony because they were convinced that Mr. Peter Obi would win the presidential election, especially as the former governor of CBN, Godwin Emefiele, and his group hoarded the new redesigned money with the mindset that money-backed politicians will not be able to induce voters. But to the surprise of the people who had openly supported Mr. Obi, when the results started coming in, Mr. Obi came third, and many Nigerians who participated in the polls alleged that there were widespread malpractices, though the APC presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, later emerged victorious as he had the highest number of popular votes. Prominent APC members across the country, including the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Comrade Senator Adams Eric Oshomole, was all out campaigning for Tinubu's election and convinced the people that when elected, President Bola Tinubu will do things differently and ensure that the nation is stabilized economically. Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor, was declared the president-elect after he polled 8,794,726 votes to win the 2023 presidential election, with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the PDP coming second with a vote cast of 6,984,520, and Peter Obi of the Labour Party was third with 6,101,533, and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party coming fourth with a total vote cast of 1,196,687 votes.
That Tinubu Bola Ahmed of the APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand.
The aftermath of the 2023 presidential and National Assembly election polls was later bereaved with a lot of litigations at the Presidential Election Appeal Court. The presidential candidates of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi challenged the results of the election at the Presidential Appeal Court, where the APC candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu was affirmed as the winner of the February 25 presidential polls, as the court ruled that the opposition parties failed to provide evidence of election malpractices. The ruling sparked lots of reactions from many Nigerians. An appeal for the case was made to the Supreme Court of Nigeria by the opposition parties. Later, the Supreme Court again declared Bola Tinubu as duly elected president of Nigeria, dismissing all new evidences from the opposition as lacking in merit in October 2024. Even with the fresh evidence of tendered documents of whether or not President Tinubu attended the Chicago State University became academic exercise at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruling elicited mixed reactions from Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora, making some to lose hope in the nation's judiciary, while others said it was victory for democracy.
We are happy that the judiciary has spoken, and you can see Nigerians are happy. You can see the jubilations. Even for those who couldn't come out, we're all happy.
Thank the members of the judiciary through these judges who did wonderful work, detailed job, took all day. They went and they considered all issues raised and from all angles.
That is the best thing, and it's a judgment, a landmark judgment since 1999 when democracy came to Nigeria. I believe no Supreme Court will be able to fault the judgment of the Court of Appeal.
The candidates, they don't have a credible evidence against what they were pursuing.
The way the Constitution is written in such a way that proving election fraud becomes almost impossible.
The edge Obi was actually having was 25%, that Abuja was supposed to give. But how can they still be the ones saying it was not part of the constitution? And that's a lie. And our hands are tied because there's literally nothing we can do about it.
At the National Assembly level, former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswill Akpabio, emerged as a new Senate president of the 10th Senate after he polled 63 votes to defeat former governor of Zamfara State and then Senator-elect Abdulaziz Yari, as Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas emerged as the Speaker of the House of Representatives after he polled 553 votes to beat the other contestants in former Deputy Speaker Idris Wase and Sani Jaji, who polled 3 votes each.
And that I will abide.
And that I will abide.
By the code of conduct.
By the code of conduct.
Contained in the 5th schedule.
Contained in the 5th schedule.
To the Constitution of the Federal
Republic. To the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God. I, Abbas Tajuddin.
And that I will abide.
And that I will abide.
By the code of conduct.
By the code of conduct.
Contained in the 5th schedule.
Contained in the 5th schedule.
To the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Amen.
One major upset in the political space in year 2023 was the crisis that rocked Rivers State, where there was moves by 24 out of the 32 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara, and resulted in turbulence in the state as the governor's loyalists stormed the assembly complex in protest against the plot. It came after the bombing of the State House of Assembly located along Moscow Road in Port Harcourt by suspected arsonists, where a section of the chamber was damaged and some properties were destroyed. After a series of uproar, President Bola Tinubu was said to have resolved the crisis despite groups in some quarters calling on Governor Fubara not to accept the resolution describing it as a death sentence. The governor, in a recent statewide broadcast, said he would abide by the resolutions of Mr. President and said it was not a death sentence.
I have taken some time to study the terms therein and have come to the conclusion that the peace path is not as bad as it might be portrayed by those genuinely opposed to it. It is certainly not a death sentence. It affords some way towards a lasting peace and stability in our dear states.
The political event in the year 2023 was crowned with the presentation of the 2024 appropriation bill by President Bola Tinubu, an action which was criticized because of the lump sum allocation to governance, especially the yash issue. While some are still disenchanted with the current administration, others hope that the renewed hope agenda promised by President Bola Tinubu during his electionary campaign will be better for citizens next year. And that's a special report for today. Thank you so very much for watching. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.